Hey, and welcome to episode 3 of Front Seat Gamer. I'm Nick. I'm here with Severn.
Hey.
And Blake.
Hi.
This might actually be the first time you've ever heard of us because we haven't released any episodes yet.
And we've been making them.
Yeah. And so I think this is going to be like the first one chronologically that you end up listening to. I don't know. We'll find out. This is all a grand experiment.
Mm-hmm. We finally figured out audio.
Yes.
Well, microphones.
So this is going to be the
and
best
we didn't change our name. This is the first podcast where we didn't change our name.
That's right. Oh my god. So we've each got a microphone this time, sounding real professional. I'm holding mine.
Nice.
It's a little tiny
Maybe you
mic ball.
Don't talk yourself down, man. It's an impressive microphone.
They have pills for bigger microphones. If you haven't heard Front Seat Gamer before, there's a very good chance that you haven't, we are 3 game developers. We work at Grinding Gear Games, and we talk about game development and our love of games. So that's sort of what we do.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. So it would not just your typical enthusiast chatter.
Yeah.
Because we, to some extent, at least these two I'm with, know what they're talking about.
Well.
Anyway, what have you been up to this week?
Ooh, I've been looking at podcast hosting websites.
Oh,
Something
cool.
very interesting.
How come?
And I think, wow.
You're starting up a podcast?
We're starting a podcast. So I think, yeah, that's all. Go ahead. We've got everything. We're just going to have to sign paperwork.
Oh,
well,
shit. Yeah, I
or
saw
exchange credit card information, that kind of
I
thing.
saw the...
I don't sign anything.
Oh, that's fine. I'll be doing.
Okay, good.
I'll forward your signature. Yeah, it'll be fine.
That's fine.
It's
It's just a big X.
I saw some Amazon stuff that was you signed up for or something.
Oh, yeah, we won't be doing that anymore.
Oh, okay.
We're going to go through that other one that
Cool.
your friend recommended.
My friend.
Yes.
Anthony Gallegos.
Yes, the man.
Whoa.
The G-man.
Name drop in here.
Whoa.
Anthony, if you're listening to this, I love you. Just FYI. Okay.
Oh yeah. What about you, Nick? Have you been doing anything?
Nope. I watched Evil Dead 2 last night for the first time ever.
Right. Yeah. I can't believe you hadn't seen that before.
It's
a classic.
It sure is something. I really like the visual style.
Yeah.
Not my kind of movie.
Did you? Okay, I was gonna say, did you get it? But I guess you.
No, I mean, I got it.
Yeah.
It's just, there's not a lot to get. It's just like I totally get why people like it.
Mm.
I don't like it.
I think you got to watch the Army of Darkness next.
Yeah, I probably will.
Army of Darkness is very different,
sure,
but still great.
I got so annoyed watching this movie though last night because, like at some point they keep explaining the story. We have to read this book to say the things, to do the thing, and then that'll happen. I've said the first one, now I have to say the second one, and then it'll do the portal. Okay, cool. We know. But what was so frustrating is she has to say 2 phrases. First one makes this demon into its flesh incarnate or whatever. The second one opens up a portal. It sucks it wherever it goes. And she reads the first passage, and then there's like a 15-minute gap between the point she reads the first passage and the point she even starts reading the second passage. Just start reading the second passage immediately. It's fine. Why did you wait that long? Anyway, so I did that. Watched that movie. That was my, I guess, highlight of the week.
A highlight?
No.
Oh my god. Are you okay?
It was a pretty dull week.
Talking about movies, did I tell you I watched The Room?
No, what did you think?
I thought it was amazing.
Yes, The Room is amazing.
It was incredible. And something you didn't tell me about was that there were like 5 sex scenes in the first 30 minutes. And 2 of the sex scenes are exactly identical.
they really reused some footage between them. Yeah,
within the first like 15 minutes, they reused the same sex.
It's so good. Oh, man. It's great. We used to see it like in the cinemas. They used to do it once a month when I was living in the US.
Yeah.
And like there was all these like Rocky Horror Picture Show style things you do during the movie.
Yeah, I've looked up YouTube videos of
right,
it, and I've seen people filming in a theater, and everyone is just
spoons.
speaking all the words.
Right, yeah. Were they throwing spoons in the air and stuff?
I didn't see any spoons being thrown.
Well, during this, I think it's the second to last sex scene, maybe the last sex scene. I'm not sure. You're meant to just leave the cinema for like 5 minutes, get a drink, go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
We call it the 7th inning stretch because there's a lot of time taken up by sex scenes in the movie.
And they're not good.
No. Yeah.
They're really not. There's a lot of roses being draped over.
And it's a lot of Tommy Wiseau banging that poor woman's navel.
Yeah.
Like he's clearly too high to be hitting any of the right bits.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is a podcast about video games, as you can tell. Did you guys play anything this week?
Yes, but we should skip to what Blake's been playing.
It's way more exciting.
Well, I've already talked about what I've been playing. I've been checking out the Grand Theft Auto heist that came out on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah. What do you mean you already talked about it? You haven't.
Oh, yesterday at the at Curry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but our listeners weren't
Oh
at
yeah,
Curry.
sorry. Yeah.
Remember when all those
But-
tens of people read?
Yeah, man, but I don't want to repeat myself.
I
because
wasn't there
No,
either,
well-
actually. So
It's good.
okay,
It's really good.
yeah.
No, repeat
Well,
yourself, man.
I only played the first heist with me and Big T,
Uh-huh.
and it was really good. It was worth the wait. Yeah,
So, are you excited for the PC version? Are you gonna get the PC version?
I probably will pick it up, mainly for the modding scene, I think.
Oh yeah.
Just to
I hope
see-
it has. I don't know if it's going to have Steam Workshop
I doubt
modding
it.
in there because 4 doesn't, which really
Yeah.
sucks.
I think they'll just open it up to the community.
Yeah,
Why even go through Steam?
I tried to get that fancy. What's it called? Like Frost mod or something that
Oh,
does
yeah.
all the
Oh,
crazy.
I think it's called Ice Enhancer.
Yeah,
I
tried
got it running one time.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Man,
It sucks down memory like crazy though.
Yeah, I tried to get it working and it just instantly crashed in the game. So
It took me a while to get it working.
okay.
I love how the whole modding scene took off, especially with Skyrim,
Oh,
Grand
yeah.
Theft Auto
Oh my
4.
God, yeah.
So I can't wait to see what they do with 5.
I was just like a few minutes ago watching a Skyrim like
Cheese wheel?
No, not the cheese
No.
wheel. Someone has gone and just added all the most ridiculous mods into Skyrim.
Was this the donkey video?
Oh wait, was there a Battletoads guy?
I don't know.
Was
I don't
there a
know.
Sonic the Hedgehog
Yes,
character
yes.
and all the dragons are trains?
Yes.
Yes, this is the donkey video. It's
Oh,
so
yeah,
good. If you haven't seen it, you guys should check out Donkey on YouTube. He does hilarious
That's really
video
great.
game stuff.
I think
trains
the
is a-
Skyrim guys have sort of lost it though. Well, that whole modding scene.
I mean, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
this is the peak of losing it.
Oh, yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's a great.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
giant battle scene.
It's like
where
40 trains flying.
all the dragons have been replaced by trains, and not just trains, Thomas the Tank Engine trains.
Oh wow.
And they all have the sounds like toot toot, and there's like Thomas the Tank Engine music playing, and then the guy's like, "Oh, what a time for a werewolf attack!" And all these werewolves just like coming from nowhere.
And then he conjures a bear, and the
Yeah,
bear's like
and
standing.
The
in-
bear has a what are they called? Well, like a guitar.
Yeah, like a little.
Yeah, and I think he's auto tuned or something as well.
Wow.
It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes me want to play Skyrim again because I played it with no mods, and
Yeah.
now I want to play it with every mod. Like I want to
Yeah.
I want to do the crazy Skyrim breaking the universe version. Oh man,
Skyrim mods are really cool. I've been trying to get like high texture ones and stuff to work, but none of them seem like good enough. Like since I bought that
Oh
new
yeah,
computer,
you bought a real fancy gaming rig.
Yeah, I've been trying to get like really high texture stuff going, but it just
Do they
Not quite.
break your game? These mods? Is
Um,
it sort of like switch out your system folder with this?
No, because I think the thing is I'm doing it all through Steam Workshop, so
Okay.
that stuff doesn't break unless there are like mod conflicts. Then it
Okay.
will break, and then you have to go through this huge list and untick things one at a time to see,
Oh.
or turn them all off and then slowly turn them all
Steam
back
doesn't
on to
go
see what
through it
happens.
automatically?
Steam will just load them up automatically,
Mhm.
and you're usually guaranteed that they'll work. But sometimes individual mods just conflict with each other.
Okay.
And
Like if something's-
usually you can subscribe to collections of mods and they all work together. But if you subscribe to multiple collections, that's when you start getting
Right.
problems.
Yeah, because like some mods will swap out the same character model
Gotcha. Yeah.
twice. You know,
hmm
so. What have you been playing, Blake?
What have I been playing? Do you want to talk about Trouble in Terrace Town that we played last night?
Dude, that was
What's
awesome.
Trouble in Terrace Town?
Gary's mod. It's a what would you call it?
Oh, is that the one where you are a detective or a
Yes, but we didn't. I don't think we had enough people for there to be a detective.
Okay.
Like I think, yeah, I'm not sure what the settings is because we only played on one map and we never got into it. We had 5 or 6 people.
Mm-hmm.
We had one terrorist every time, and it shows you how desperate people get when
there's a lot of paranoia.
Yeah, people instantly just are terrified of everybody else around them.
Yes.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Yes, I've always wanted to play that. It looks like a lot of fun. It's a really it's sort of, to me, that's like the meeting of board game and video game right there, because it's all about like social dynamics.
Yeah,
and,
it's very psychological.
Yeah, and the game is really just a conduit for everybody to just
Yell at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really good. We were all in the same room, all playing the game, and early on I noticed people that were the terrorists would clam up. They wouldn't say anything, and you'd egg them on, but they just wouldn't take.
That's
Then later on we figured out, oh dude, like these people shut up.
Yeah.
And
That's what the first time I was a terrorist, I did that exact same thing. I didn't say anything, and everyone was shouting, and then someone was like, "Blake's been pretty quiet." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm hiding." Like he's a terrorist, just go for him. But there was a time where in the middle of our play session, after a couple hours, because we played for like 3 hours in the end.
yeah, that really flew by.
Yeah, but somewhere in there, you, me, and I think 2 other guys, we sort of all spawned in a similar area, and we were like, okay, don't shoot. I'm innocent. And for some reason, we just all trusted each other that we were innocent.
We had our posse.
Yeah, and we formed a posse, and we were like, we formed a posse. Let's go after the first person we see. We saw someone in the lighthouse, and everyone just shouts, "Get that!" And we just completely formed like mob mentality.
Oh my god!
It was.
Everyone outside of this mob, there.
Yeah, everyone out of the mob was an enemy. It was like our tribe versus theirs suddenly.
Yep.
Like,
Please tell me someone in your little tribe was actually the terrorist.
I don't think. No, I think what happened. We ran into that lighthouse. So, the person in front of me just got shot in the face and died.
Sure.
I shot the person.
Who shot your friend.
Who shot my friend?
Yeah.
Somebody shot me. And then all hell broke loose. I don't know what happened. That lighthouse was full of corpses, and none of us was the traitor. And the thing, I'm pretty sure at the end of that map, the traitor was on the other side of the map most of the time.
Oh my god!
And we just
so
murdered
good.
each other.
So, I mean, that's a great tactic though for that game. You can just literally step out of it, like let everybody else freak out amongst each other, and then you finish off whoever survives that little shootout. That's awesome. I want to play next time. Should let me know, man.
Yeah, get on
yeah.
it.
I'm so upset.
Have you not played anything else?
I think this week, no, not really. I checked out Unreal a little bit. Not too much. I want to do it actually this weekend when we finish recording to really get in there. Because I come home, like I've been working quite late at work, and by the time I get home, I'm like, I don't really have time to do a huge Maya scene and then put it into thing. So anyway, yeah, I checked out some of the prefab stuff that's there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
The shooter prefab?
Yeah, the shooter prefab. It's so easy.
It's amazing.
Yeah. All I really did, like I just looked in there and I attached a light to a gun and then turned off all the lights on that level and just ran around. I was like, wow, this is so
Is it
easy.
dynamic shadows? What do you have going?
Yeah.
Holy
It was
crap.
really, really cool.
This is exciting, man.
Yeah, I can tell you guys are really excited.
Yeah.
Dynamic shadows are a huge deal. We support one in our game.
How many does Unreal 4 support?
I don't know. Yeah. It's going to be
That
interesting
many,
to find
huh?
out. Yeah.
But that look is really cool. You don't see, first person shooters don't. Well, I'm guessing the ones now do have it, but
Yeah.
a couple of years ago you didn't have dynamic lights on the first person.
I remember because I was using Unity. Well, I've been using Unity for a little while, and the dynamic shadow stuff was always like behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they held.
It's
that sort of
changed
stuff
a lot
back,
now.
Yeah.
What about you, Nick? What have you been playing?
Let me think. This week, not much of anything really.
How's the magic card stuff?
Oh, it's good. It's going good. Yeah, been playing. I haven't played any Magic. Actually, no. Last weekend I bought a dual deck, which is like they give you 2 decks that are meant to play against each other,
Oh, okay.
and it's eventually like be a rivalry between two of the famous Magic characters, and so I played that with my girlfriend.
Is there a story in Magic the Gathering?
There is. It's really complex and convoluted.
Like the game.
Yeah, it's really hokey. oh, that hurts. It's the story is not real. I mean, some people like it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even tried to follow it. There's time travel and dimension crossing and characters transforming
And planeswalkers.
Yep, planeswalkers. And
what are they? Are they like?
if you
guys?
play Magic the Gathering, you are a planeswalker.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were a wizard.
You are a planeswalker. Which is like sort of like a wizard, but
Okay.
the idea is you're pulling and summoning like spells and abilities from other planes. And like each set, you planeswalk to the new wherever it's set.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know that. What's your favorite type of deck?
Oh, actually, I really like red and blue decks. So, red is like full of burn spells, which are like direct damage and great for killing creatures or dealing damage to your opponent. And blue is all about control, which is like counter spelling. So if your opponent tries to play something, you can prevent them playing it, or sending something back to their hand, or making sure they can't attack that turn or something.
So just being an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. It's if you've ever played against a pure blue deck, it's one of the most frustrating experiences in any game I've ever played.
That sounds like you, Nick. It sounds like you should be a blue deck.
Yeah.
Why are you flashing
Because
red?
then I also get to burn their stuff.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Red and blue is really interesting because you get these weird combinations where you're like, I'm going to burn this creature, and then I'm going to play this blue spell, which turns that burn into 3 burns, and then I'm going to burn that creature and your face, and then I'm going to clone that creature and make it burn you, and it's just like all sorts of crazy stuff.
Is there anywhere you play regularly? Like, is there a group or something that meets up?
Me, no. I used to play... no. Like years and years ago, I played regularly with some friends, but...
well, quite a few people in the office play.
That's true, yes. When people like have an hour or whatever at the end of the day before they need to be home, we will play a game or something. It's really fun.
Cool.
There's a new set coming out in like 2 weeks. I'm really excited for.
Cool. Did I hear? This is like something I think I saw.
Cool.
But do you know?
Was it a ghost?
Yeah. But do you know if I thought I heard somewhere that the newest Magic the Gathering for like Steam or whatever is going to be free to play.
Ooh.
Have you heard that at all?
I haven't followed it, but it's possible.
Like I heard that somewhere, but I forgot to like follow up on it because I'd be quite keen to check that out.
I hadn't heard that. It would be the first in the series if it is.
Yeah,
and
I know.
it would be weird because the tabletop game isn't free.
Yeah, weird, eh?
So you'd be
But
getting
I think
free cards.
I mean, now I'm speculating on something that might not even be. But I think if it was free to play, you'd just then buy packs of cards.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
What's Hearthstone doing?
Hearthstone is free to play.
Yeah, Hearthstone's free
Yeah,
to play.
but can you purchase cards?
Yes.
Yeah,
play
but
it
not
digital.
not individually. You buy packs of cards and then it's quite cool. Like it's got that Blizzard polish. When you open a pack, you drag it onto this opening thing, and there's a little
And
mini
then
explosion.
it literally explodes.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then you turn over each of the cards.
Yeah,
to
and
see
you
what
can
it
you can
is.
hover over them, and they're actually like 3D. There's definitely like depth in there, and then you click on it, and they flip over.
It's probably a normal map. It's probably not even 3D.
I don't know. I've actually been trying to figure that out.
Nothing
Oh, yeah?
normal
Yeah.
about this map.
Oh, wow.
Because it does flip, and I'm like, I swear there's like bumpage to that.
I think they are. I think the cards are 3D models. Like they're very flat looking 3D models, but they're still.
Yeah. There's still like a little bit of
Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, because when you're playing, the cards are also 3D because they get drawn out of the deck itself.
Yeah.
So,
Oh wait, the card is 3D. It's a plane. Is that what you're saying? It's a
yeah, it's like a
plane primitive.
Yeah.
In my,
Yeah.
Of course it'd be.
Yeah.
What else would it be?
Well, I don't.
Well, I mean,
you're a plane
I mean,
primitive.
like actual depth. I'm not just saying like.
Oh right.
You know,
okay,
I
it's got-
mean, there's actual. I'm sure there's actual depth to
okay.
them, not just like yeah. Of course, they're just a plane,
Yeah.
a normal plane.
Okay.
But I mean, there's stuff on top of that plane as well. Geometry on top of that plane.
Okay. I haven't seen this.
I
don't think so.
I think that'd be stupid.
I'm I'm unsure. Like
The
I
card
would be
backs-
interested to find out. Like
you
the
can-
card backs, I'm pretty sure
can
have
change
something.
it. Maybe they do have some bump mapping. I'm not sure, but they have like they have textures that can glow and
Yeah,
animate and
yeah.
stuff. So
It's ridiculously high polish.
yeah.
Their I remember their like opening cinematic for it is that the crazy.
Wait, Blizzard has an opening cinematic for Hearthstone.
Yeah, and it's at that
Yeah.
insane level.
Wow.
And it's for a card game. And
Is it just hands? Like super realistic
I don't
hands?
think there are any hands in it. It's
Oh,
just
wow.
yeah.
It's these 3D cards with dips on them running at each other.
I don't even remember. I must have seen it.
But it's so like okay. The thing I'm thinking of is it's very very short and it's just like a half. I'm pretty sure it's just a Hearthstone chest being put on a table, but it's the most detailed chest you've ever seen.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You mean,
Right.
like when you boot up the game and you choose the. Yeah, there's like a cool 3D chest thing. Yeah,
Okay.
it
Is
looks good.
Okay.
It's good.
All right.
It is a
But
very very polished
I,
game.
I always think that's like crazy because Blizzard just puts this ridiculous amount of polish
Yeah.
on something that's so.
But what's
small,
weird
you
is when you get minor bugs, it's really noticeable because of that polish.
Oh,
like, then they used to have a lot more, and they've taken out most of the bugs. But I played a card the other day, and when you play a card, it sort of it sits down on the battlefield, and they're meant to sort of sit in a line. If you've got a bunch of creatures out, they just sort of sit there.
Yeah.
This one, I don't know quite what happened. I must have like hovered over a thing as I was laying down the card or something. Some weird combination of movements, and the creature was like a good, like 50% further up the board
Oh,
than
weird.
it should have been. It was just sticking
So
out.
it was as if it had attacked something.
Well,
and then
it-
just stuck there.
No, it doesn't, because I mean I don't think even attacking makes them stick out. It was just like I got stuck while I was putting it down,
Oh, weird.
and it just sat there, and it might have gotten reset after.
Oh wait,
like,
so it was like hovering over the board. You mean?
It was just if you imagine like a plane with like a halfway point,
Yeah.
and then like some quarter
Yeah,
point
yeah.
lines, and everything's laid out on the quarter point lines. This one card was like halfway between the halfway point and the quarter point line.
Okay,
It was just like,
that's strange.
yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
And because it's a Blizzard game, you're like, ugh.
I've seen
What's going on?
I've seen
This
things
game's-
where particle effects don't disappear. Like like there
Oh,
have
yes.
been times where I've casted spells and they
Yes.
have like a cool like effect from your character
That's
and then
true.
it shoots over. Sometimes that starting effect doesn't disappear and it
Yeah.
just sits there for a couple of turns.
That's true
Okay.
as well. Yeah, if you have something that makes one of the cards in your hand extra special, like you've got something that enables a card in your hand, that card will glow.
Okay.
And then if the thing that was on the field that was enabling that card vanishes, sometimes the card will just keep glowing
That's
forever.
really weird.
Yeah, it's just
But
What's
these are,
happening with
these
that
are
particle
super,
theme?
super
Yeah.
minor things.
Okay.
But because everything else is so good, you're like, this is really bad.
Okay.
Whereas, I mean, I love our game, but there's a lot of stuff that's really
Yeah.
broken, and we get free passes because it's all kind of equally broken.
that was something that they sort of hid well in Warcraft, right? Because Warcraft had a very blocky look. So
You mean like the original Warcraft?
I mean, like World of
Orcs,
Warcraft. I'm
orcs
talking
and
about.
humans?
World
Okay,
of
sure,
Warcraft, yeah. We're at the point where just saying Warcraft, you just assume World of Warcraft.
Maybe you're at that point.
Yeah, I'm definitely at that
I'm never
point.
going to be at that point.
But yeah, the stuff in that game was so sort of cartoonish and unrealistic that flaws, like mistakes made in geometry or whatever, kind of got a pass because
'Cause everything was so exaggerated.
yeah. Whereas something like Elder Scrolls, little problems stand out a lot more because everything's way more detailed.
That's actually the same with your favorite game, GTA 5.
Well, dude, I was actually going to bring up a Grand Theft Auto.
I knew
Really? That's a
yeah,
that's
story.
a
see it in your
Yeah,
eyes.
because you remember San Andreas
Yeah.
when you were playing a CJ and you could eat and get fat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you could pull that off really easy back then because the quality was so garbage
Yeah.
that you could just inflate
Yeah.
vertex positions. And
Just stretch those textures.
you know, in 5, because that level of detail is so high, you would have to sculpt and create an entirely new fat character, you know,
And-
to show that. And
Uh-huh.
when you have something so simple,
And you probably have to sculpt in between
that too,
things
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, man, a
Yeah.
double chin coming
Yeah,
on.
yeah. You'd have to have a little
Things
bit
like-
starting to get a little bit fat, and
Yep.
then yeah.
Yep, and then rolls.
Then a super obese guy.
But going back to your Steam and Magic game thing, I think they're probably just copying off Hearthstone.
Yeah, I know that does sound like something.
Because that's a
that is
huge success.
If they are doing it for
I mean, that's
I don't
Oh,
know.
right. So they're not even doing it?
Yeah,
I could attempt to
I'm-
look it up right now. Do we want to find
No,
out?
no.
Okay.
No, don't.
Speculation's
fact check.
good.
I'll come back next week and say, well, that thing I said was completely wrong.
I retract everything I said last week. I'm really sorry.
I was really surprised that the Magic guys didn't actually bring out a card game first.
What do you
I
mean?
was.
What do you mean, a digital thing?
Yeah, weren't they really far behind?
They've had one for a long, long time.
Oh shit! Am I just?
Yeah, you're real.
Okay.
It's,
real out of the loop there, but
It's
I'll
been
shut
on,
up.
like, they go all the way back to, was there a 2012 card game on Steam?
Duels with Planeswalkers was
I know there was a 2013.
2011,
Wow.
I think. But even before that, they had Magic the Gathering Online, which was like 2005 or something like that, around there.
Oh,
And
geez, okay.
it's really, really old
Yeah.
and really bad. Like it's virtually unplayable. The UI is super clumsy and it looks bad. It's got every card basically ever made on there, which is impressive because
They
it's
just didn't
50,000 cards.
care all that much about it,
Well,
probably.
they do. It's just like it's so hard to maintain when the infrastructure is that old, and
Oh,
you're,
yeah.
you're adding like new stuff all the time.
That's why I think it's they've got a bit of a sports game problem, I think, because every year they come out with Magic the Gathering 2014, Magic the Gathering 2015, and at some point you're just like, well, I'm just going to wait for the next one. And,
Well,
you know.
well, okay. So it's interesting you say that. The yearly things are ending this year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Then instead, they're just having the new like blocks of basically
Yeah.
brand new cards.
Okay.
On top of that,
That's good. That's really
Yeah.
good.
I think Wizards doesn't even really want their online thing to be that popular because it cannibalizes the in-game,
yeah.
the in-store purchases.
Okay.
So
That
But it is-
sounds like very old hat.
Yeah,
type
I
thinking.
mean that totally. I would much rather play a digital version than an actual physical card version.
there are definitely some advantages, but there's things like with the way Magic works, like with, for example, a counterspell, anything that you have to play it at instant speed, they call it instant speed. It's really hard to transfer that to a digital space because you have to be able to basically interrupt your opponent.
Okay.
Right? So your opponent says, I'm going to play this creature, and then you say, I'm going to counterspell
Yeah.
that creature.
So then there
before,
needs to be
before that hits the table, basically.
Yeah. So there needs to be like extra phases built into the
Right.
digital.
So and
yeah.
so that's what ends up happening for like the Duels of the Planeswalkers games. And there's like a 5-second window or whatever where you can play
Okay,
it. But for
yeah.
online, it's like I'm playing a creature, and then the opponent says, "I'm okay with that." The creature hits the table. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm
That just
attacking
makes
with
it-
that
that
creature.
just
I'm okay
slows
with that.
down the-
Yeah,
yeah.
it just becomes really, really, really slow. So that's and that's why I really prefer to play that on tabletop. It's just games like Hearthstone, because it's really, really simple. It's just like I'm attacking, I'm playing my creatures.
And it was
it's-
built. It was built for digital.
right.
From the start, anyway. Yeah.
Everything in Hearthstone everything you do takes place in your turn, and it doesn't really matter what order the things happen in that much.
And there are sort of counters, but they all just happen automatically. They just
The
you
secrets
have
and
the
stuff.
secret cards
Yeah, yeah.
that then they have what triggers it on it.
Right.
And that will just automatically happen.
And-
you don't
and-
have to say, "Oh, no, you're not." I'm gonna,
Right.
You know.
And the control is actually taken out of the player's hand.
yeah. You have no control. Like, yeah. It
So-
would be kind of cool if you could say, "I'm not going to trigger that secret right now," but
Well, then that sort of like tips your hand a little bit as
Yeah.
well. Like if your opponent sees that you've delayed a little bit there,
yeah.
they know that could have triggered, and then it's pretty
so they
easy to
kinda
figure
know,
out
yeah.
what that secret is.
But the thing is, there's also not that many secrets in the game, so you kind of got a good idea of what classes have what secrets.
It's true. When we're talking about secrets in Hearthstone, it's really interesting because I don't know how much room there is for more secrets. Like they added a few more, but not that many. Like
Yeah.
they haven't. They
Some-
had a
some-
bunch at the start, but it's part of the whole secret system is that each secret triggers off of a different thing. Like when you look at a mage, and you've got a counter spell secret which
Yeah.
counters a spell, and then you've got like one that blows up a creature when it attacks, and one that gives you armor when you are attacked, and there's all these different conditions, and each one is sort of independent.
Yeah.
Like they all sort of have their own risk, and you sort of you play certain actions in a certain order to figure out like what the secret is and how to play around it.
Yeah.
But if they add more, then it's inevitable that there's going to be some overlap, and part of that tactical depth is going to be lost, and it's just going to become, oh, do they have this one or that one? It's now down to luck.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm actually really interested to see how they do secrets in the future.
Because some classes don't even have secrets at all.
True.
Yeah.
That's another point. There is room for some of those classes to have secrets. Like
I wouldn't mind seeing all classes have a few secrets at least, secret cards. Yeah.
There's room. I think there's room for the druid to have secrets for sure, and shaman.
Yeah.
Even
Warlocks don't have secrets.
Warlocks don't have secrets.
They do. They do have demons though.
Yep. I like Hearthstone. I want to go play Hearthstone now.
Yeah.
I'm done here. No, I'm kidding. So you want to talk about Steam machines, I think, right, Blake?
Yeah, so I looked on Steam because they've put up all their Steam machines after announcing them last week. And there is way more than I thought there'd be.
Yeah.
Because they've been, when they were sort of teased in the past, it showed there was like one prototype thing. I think it was called like the Piston or something. And its specs weren't all that impressive, I don't think. But so I was expecting something like that. There'd be like a few of them. And they were talking a lot about the Alienware one, which seems like it's sounding like the flagship one. But yeah, when you go on Steam, there's a huge list, and they range from about $400 to $5,000.
So that's a massive range.
Yeah.
So it always struck me that the Steam machines were Valve's way of entering the console space. And I mean, it's pretty obvious. They have a controller, and they're sort of priced when they're at the $400 mark. They're kind of priced aggressively at console consumers.
Yeah.
But then when you've got a $5,000 one, it really sort of dilutes that message, I think.
I know,
right?
because who are you sort of aiming it for then? Like at the console price range, you're clearly trying to match them. But then you're starting to get into just like the straight up PC thing. And if somebody, I'm not going to replace my PC with a Steam PC,
right. It's also with like the announcement of the VR thing. It makes me wonder how, like, were these Steam machines built with VR in mind? Because if not, how quickly are these going to be considered obsolete by Valve themselves?
I was actually almost expecting to see the VR stuff already on Steam, and that they should just interconnect.
What do you think about the Steam machines, Sev?
I do not have an opinion.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's very cool for them to do, casting a very wide net.
Yeah.
And seeing what sticks. I don't really have anything to say.
I think it's also, to me, it's weird because so they've got this controller, which is like, to me implies, okay, Steam developers make games that work really well with controllers, but there's no guarantee people will buy it because these also work with PC games. So you're only going to get the consumers who have controllers who play this game. It seems like they're, for some reason, and maybe I'm missing the big picture, but it feels like Valve is fracturing their consumer base and their developers. And I personally don't think that the Steam machines are going to turn out super well for them.
Yeah, I don't think that they're gonna take over the console space at all.
Yeah, I think it'll end up eating more into their PC space.
Yeah.
Which is bad.
Because I guess if you're a primarily PC player and you don't actually know all that much about what happens inside your PC, you probably would want to go for one of those because it's all just pre-built and it has that that console convenience of it just works, right? Well, at least it should just work.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know.
I think we're not the target consumers. I have my Steam machine.
So then who is? If it's people who own consoles, they already own consoles.
Because I was thinking if this,
good point.
I think if this had come out, say when, do you remember when the Ouya came out?
Yeah.
And that was like going to be the big thing, just because people were already wanting something new.
Mm-hmm.
If Steam machines had come out then, I think it might be a different story, you know,
Right.
because then there would be an actual space for them.
Sure. But so there's also recently the NVIDIA announced their Shield,
Oh yeah.
which is not their Shield because they've also got the Shield.
The handheld shield.
Thank you for
Oh,
the,
you mean
the
the-
awesome naming, NVIDIA. So they've got so
they-
an
wait.
explanation. NVIDIA has the NVIDIA Shield, which is like a handheld Android device. But then they've just announced the NVIDIA Shield, same spelling, which is their console. for
Oh,
home,
okay.
home console.
I thought that thing. Okay, I saw pictures of that. It's
It's-
like an actual box thing, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was just a streaming box.
So they're touting it's like, I think they said like 3 times more powerful than the Xbox 360.
Wow,
which
okay, that's a-
isn't powerful. and can stream, and they're allegedly gonna have great streaming infrastructure in the U.S. So
But then, like, what?
We're out of luck over
What
here.
games are going to be supporting that?
yeah, again, that's a good question. Yeah,
Because I mean, at least with Steam boxes, you've got a huge inbuilt catalog.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the problem of the consoles where you buy one and earlier on you buy one and you're like, well, now I got to wait 6 months. For
it
an
might
actual
be
good game.
for Android games. I think that's sort of the angle. But
So
also,
they're taking down the
what,
Ouya.
what killer apps are out on Android? Yeah,
Um,
it's I don't know. That whole thing is strikes
Crossy
me-
Road game is pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to play that on my 1080 TV.
Yeah.
It's gonna be super fun. Oh man, I don't know. That seems like a real bad idea to me. I can't.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really paying attention to that because it's not something I'm that interested in anyway.
I just don't think that the streaming infrastructure is there yet. I think I don't think we're even close to having like fast enough internet, like even within the United States,
Oh yeah.
for streaming to be a viable gaming option. Like there's gonna be a delay, and that delay is gonna
It
be
is
most
kind of
games
cool that
unplayable.
companies are trying to reach further than the technology allows them,
Yeah.
because they are sort of pushing the
Sure.
envelope of what
Yeah,
can be done.
that's a fair
you know.
point. That's a fair point. But and I guess NVIDIA probably has the money to do that.
Yeah,
To make
yeah.
those risks.
Yeah. Steam has streaming stuff,
Yeah.
but
They
I
have-
think it's just through network.
Yeah, it's like on the same network. I tried it when I was at an old place that had really, really, really bad Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah.
Didn't work very well.
man.
It was really, really terrible.
Jeez.
But you could do weird stuff with it. Like you could tab out of the game. Like I was playing it on a Surface, and I tabbed out of the game I was playing, and it tabbed out of the window on my computer as well.
Oh.
So
So just straight up remote desktops.
Yeah, it's really what it is. That's exactly what it is. You
Ah.
can, yeah. So I don't know. Streaming, I think it needs work.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be proven wrong though.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong, NVIDIA. So we got more questions from our forum users that we still haven't answered because we're slow, and because none of these episodes have come out yet.
They will be.
They will be.
Yeah.
So how much time? How many questions do we have? So we'll probably do 2 questions.
Sure.
I reckon. This first question comes from Dr. Wood. How important was it, if at all, working for a company that tries to be ethical and not pay to win? Anyone want to start us off?
I think it was a nice bonus, but I was just happy to have a job.
Yeah. Didn't really matter. Like if Path of Exile had been like, you could buy the best sword in the game, and you knew that going in. Would you just be
Well,
like,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
sure?
situational because where I was when I got my job at Grinding Gears, I had been like 6 months unemployed, so I kind of just wanted a job.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have really cared if they.
Sure.
But if I was not in that situation and I did have my choice of studios, then maybe I would have gone with the ethical
Right.
studio. Yeah.
How many of those are there though?
There's us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a nice bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just shows your bosses aren't complete sellouts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yes, it is. I think that's a good point. I mean, first of all, I think we'd probably all be making more money if
Yeah.
this if Path of
If
Exile
they
were
were
pay to
to sell
win.
it.
Yeah, because they would just be generating more money. But at the end, like I think I'd also have less job satisfaction, and
You'd feel.
I'd be less trusting of our bosses. Like
Yeah.
I feel like they almost always have our best interests at heart when they're making decisions.
Yeah, they kind of do. I really like that.
Yeah.
But do you also think that the player base would be as cool in a in a game that's just pay to win?
I don't think they'd be as devoted.
Yeah.
I think that we have a lasting player base, and I think a big part of that is that if you basically everybody has a fair chance.
Yeah.
It's not governed by economics in the same way that like
The person with the most money in real
Right.
life isn't the best player.
Though on the other hand, if we were pay to win, our most committed players would probably be the players who put the most money in, right?
You'd have a combination of the two. People that put a lot of time
Yeah,
then
that's
would
true.
be at the top with those who put a lot of money in.
But yeah, the people that put the most money in doesn't necessarily mean they're the most dedicated players.
Yeah.
They could just be like, I don't know, super rich people that are like, oh, what's this game? I'll put, $50,000 into it. Okay, I'm done with this game.
I want to be one of those people one day. I want to throw $50,000 a game. That'd be fun.
And then be bankrupt.
Yeah.
And living on the streets.
Yeah, I could do that now. Oh my god.
I hear this is a little bit of speculation, but there's those city builder games like not Clash of Clans specifically, but Clash of Clan like games.
Okay.
And apparently they have some really huge whales in it that are
Well, Clash of Clans does too.
yeah.
A whale for listeners is a industry term that means someone who pays a lot of money. It's like when you go fishing, you'll catch some sardines, but you really want the whale. It's kind of a gross term, but it's also unfortunately really it does suit that whole concept really well.
Yeah.
Our game doesn't really attract whales the same way. There are some big scale supporters, but it's I think pretty by our standards or by industry standards, our biggest supporters are probably not that big.
Yeah. But also our biggest supporters are people that we've worked with too.
Yeah, that's true.
Who come to the office, hang out a little bit.
Yeah.
See them at meetups, and you work with the supporters all the time, making
I
items
do.
and things like that. They're not just buying the epic sort of whatever, and
Right,
then,
they're making epic sort of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Wood has another question. What would you like to add to PoE, but you can't because of the way the game is coded? And adding your thing would require large chunks of the code to be rewritten.
I've got something pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
It was something that it was an idea. I think it's been floating around the office too. But it was this was after the whole in-game stuff came in, and they opened it up to you can continue playing the game.
You mean like the maps?
Yeah, they had the whole map thing, and I was like, this is genius.
Oh, yeah.
I don't play action role-playing games, but this was a really cool idea for me.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, so imagine for Path of Exile, you have a set map, and all the dungeons and rooms are they're going to stay the same. And also the mobs stay the same, but it would almost be a sort of a time trial of how fast you can clear that room. But there was a competitive element where it's almost like a driving game where you're
Okay,
going
trying to
through.
find the
So,
fastest path.
but also in it's very similar to how they do things in Gran Turismo. So imagine you have a class where, okay, Hunter, 20 passive skills,
Yeah.
these weapons or this level cap kind of thing,
Okay.
and seeing how fast people with these restrictions can go through that map or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
More of just more filler.
So
I
you
guess.
just so you're saying you have like set classes with set builds,
Yeah.
and you're trying to go through as fast as you can with the whatever build you pick.
Yeah, it'd just be a thing like,
Yeah.
I have this kind of build, let me try and get my name on the leaderboard,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
If
Yeah,
someone does it when like a considered a crappy as build. It's like, oh my god, how did this?
Yeah. But you'll just have that whole competition element, and you're just competing for a position on the leaderboard.
Pretty cool.
I thought that would be really nice.
we sort of do have that in the form of the races, but we have fixed seed races.
Yeah.
Which it's the same.
But you're going through the entire.
Yeah, you start from that's the big difference is you start at level 1 and you see basically how far you can get or how quickly you can hit a specific point.
I quite like have you played the Endless Ledge races?
I think I have, yeah.
I quite like them.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Yeah.
There's also Descent is really fun too. Have you tried Descent?
Oh, way back I tried Descent.
Yeah.
I didn't get very far.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Because it's just its own, like it's like a dungeon crawler. It's like basically a Diablo 1 where you start at the start of the dungeon, you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Did you have anything, Nick?
There's a bunch of things. We always come up with cool feature ideas that we can't do.
Yep.
For example, here's a really, really basic one. Procs on weapons. Like, you can't have a weapon that procs a specific skill.
So tell me what a proc is.
When you hit something, I actually don't know what proc stands for. I think it's a very, very old game term. Basically, it's when you it's an event that occurs on a condition. So you hit someone in the face with your sword, and you have a 30% chance to cast a fireball. That's that fireball procs. So
there's a lot of weapons like that in World of Warcraft.
Yes.
Procs
Exactly.
Chances for stuff to happen.
Yeah. A lot of games use that system, and because it's fun and it's interesting, and you can sort of build around them.
You get cool stories out of it too, where it
kept proccing over and over again, or it didn't proc for a year.
Or it didn't, or you'll be like, it didn't proc for ages and ages, and then you got the final kill when it just proc that one time.
Yeah, when you were down to 1 life or whatever.
And got that lucky roll.
So, I mean, I love that as a mechanic. Can't do it. Because the way we currently would have to do it is we give the player that skill through the item.
Oh, right.
And then it shows up on their bar, and then we say you can't use it.
Yeah.
So it's grayed out on their skill bar, but it shows up everywhere where a normal skill would show up.
Yeah. I think you've mentioned that players, supporters have wanted similar stuff like that.
Yeah. And I would love to do it, but we just can't.
What about you, Blake? Have you thought of?
I have, and it's completely. It sounds.
Tanks?
It sounds what?
Tanks? You want cars in there?
I reckon we need a shotgun.
Okay. Rideable pets.
Yeah, actually, rideable pets would be quite cool. But I don't think the game is big enough for rideable pets. Really, like.
I don't know. Have you been in Solaris 2? It's a game joke. It's really big. It's a really big
I know
area.
it's pretty big.
It's gigantic.
I did a lot of work on Lunaris 3.
Lunaris 3 is pretty big,
Lunaris
but
3.
Lunaris 3 sort of changes in phases. Like you've got the sort of lower ground area, and then you got the middle ground area, and then you've got the upper paths that are full of corpses. And Solaris is
I've
just
seen
a huge
that
bummer.
That is huge. Yeah. But anyway, that's not what I. What I want. It sounds doable, and you'd be like that's quite doable. When you think about it, it's kind of not, and it's a Dota. It's basically Dota.
So you want Dota?
I want Dota in Path of Exile, because you think about it on the surface, that would be really, really cool, right? You have your hero and you go out and it's just Path of Exile, but with those Dota mechanics.
Yep.
But then you think well, then you're gonna have to restrict players to just a set number of skills, and then you're gonna have to be you'd have to build specific heroes, because Dota is all about a giant hero selection.
Yep.
And it's just
It's not only about that, Dota, but that's off-putting to me. I've never wanted to play Dota because of that character selection screen. You have 50 heroes there.
Well, you should try. You should.
Oh really?
Yeah. You should try Heroes of the Storm then, because there's only 30, I think, right now.
No, see, that's off-putting too.
League of
Okay.
Legends.
Have you seen Street Fighter 2 character selection?
I'll tell you what, then you should still try Heroes of the Storm, because there's 30 characters, but a bunch of them you pay for, So you only have a small
Right.
selection to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, by that logic, you'd probably be fine with League of Legends. It starts off like if you're a brand new player, it's just 10.
Oh, see, that
Basically.
sounds
And
pretty
they'll
good.
be on rotation. Like every week, you'll get a new 10 to
Yeah,
play with.
yeah.
But if you're like a level 30, like if you've been playing and you've hit the level cap or whatever, there's like 115 or something like that now.
Yeah.
There's like tons and tons and tons and tons. But that variety is good. It's really healthy for a game like that.
That's why I wonder if Heroes of the Storm will maintain its popularity, because it's starting off with like I think around 30ish characters,
Yeah.
and it's up against games that have like 100 and some like
Sure.
that. And I don't think you can get. You'll be really stretching for 100 and something characters out of Blizzard.
Oh no! I mean Hearthstone, for example. If you just look at the number of legendaries they've got.
Yeah, but then they're all Warcraft.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
do, and the problem is you'd end up with it's just like Warcraft.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point.
And it's not supposed to be
It'll be
just
like
Warcraft.
75% Warcraft,
Yeah.
and then like 20% Starcraft, and then
Yeah.
5% Diablo.
And then there's-
you got Diablo and Diablo 2. He's got bigger horns. Yeah, it's a fair point. But well, I don't know.
How do you think Dota Star thing would work in Path of Exile then? Like, as coming from a coding side.
Well, from a coding side, I have no idea. From a design side,
Okay, design side. Yeah.
I kind of like the idea. We could probably have like an area with monster spawners and towers or like totems could basically function as
Yeah.
towers, and then
Yeah.
the way character advancement would probably work, we'd probably ramp up the experience gain quite a lot.
Oh yeah.
And you would basically build out your tree as you're playing. Like you've got that giant skill tree.
Yeah.
And maybe early on, like the first thing you choose your class, and then you choose the, say, 7 gems, 7 active skill gems.
Okay. Yeah.
And those are your loadouts.
What about
then
gear though? Like
so gear,
is-
you'd buy it or whatever, like, or maybe you could even roll it like while you're fighting. But maybe you'd buy the item, the base item
So
types.
you'd have a shop.
Yeah, there'd be a shop. It'd have to be a shop, I reckon.
Yeah.
I think it's.
And then currency is just normal currency items that drop
Yeah.
off mobs.
I reckon that'd probably be the best way to do it. And then you'd probably buy base item types and support gems. from the store.
What about like destroying buildings? Do you think that would be an issue?
Well, if it was just totems, probably not.
Okay.
You just
Yeah.
nuke them down with whatever.
Actually,
skills.
yeah, you're right. It wouldn't matter because
So-
we can just make
Yeah.
whatever we want.
Yeah, I've had drop animations.
Yeah.
I'm on that.
But it would take like a year and a half of
Oh, yeah.
non-stop work
Oh, yeah.
to get something.
It's
like
not
that
a small
running.
feature.
And I say that specifically for our fans listening who are gonna then request it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
Where's the MOBA?
Yeah.
So that's all we have time for. This was episode 3 of Front Seat Gamer. If you've got a question, you can email us at frontseatquestions@gmail.com or tweet at us at frontseatcast. I'm Nick. That was Sav and Blake. We hope you liked this episode.